What's up, riders? Old Man Ronin here. Welcome back to the channel. Yeah, today we're going to go over to the post office because I sold a few t-shirts and I'm going to send out some stickers. Yay! Well, we're going to set the bike up here real quick, get it ready to film for the morning, and stay tuned. Yeah, that doesn't look good. Yeah, we're liable to get a little rain today. Yeah, we're supposed to. But you know what? That's kind of the way it is when you ride motorcycles. Once in a while, you're bound to get wet. So, what are you going to do? Well, I get wet all the time. I mean, because, you know, hey, riding on the new road. What do you think of that? Well, what I wanted to mention today on our way over to the post office is talk about you know, the best mod that I've made on this bike so far. One of the things I think is the biggest safety feature, and it's not necessarily safety for me, it's more or less for the bike, is these GV engine guards. Man, I'll tell you, and they're such quality made. I love them. I've had the bike on its side a couple times, you know, when I wasn't filming. I've never dropped it when I was filming, but it is what it is, and it's, I mean, I don't even get a scratch on them. Those little plastic sliders, I always wondered what they were for. Well, that's what they're for. They protect your bars a little bit, and I moved them around, put them in the place I wanted them, and then they're sitting there permanently on where they are now. But as far as a super high quality engine guard, I don't think you can beat it, and I really truly do love the engine guard from GV. I think if anybody has a Himalayan, that is the engine guard I totally recommend. And this is kind of like a review in a little bit. I love the thing. I think it's perfectly built. In fact, I'm debating whether maybe I should have got the GV Pannier Rails. Although I do love the ones that come with well, it doesn't come, you have to buy them separate, but the ones that for the OEM Royal Enfield, I mean, I know a lot of people are having trouble putting them on, but the biggest advice I can give you is when you start to mount them, make sure that you do start all the bolts, and don't, I mean, just start the bolts. In other words, don't tighten anything up. I mean, not even a little bit. Just get them started, so there's a few threads in there, and then go back after all the bolts are put together, especially if you're putting the taillight, or not taillight, yeah, well, the turn signal relocation kit. Now we're going to go through our little tunnel here. Do a beep bomb. But if you're doing a turn signal relocation kit, then definitely don't tighten anything up. Just put all the bolts in, and then as you're finished, make sure everything has got Loctite on it. I would never use the red Loctite on that because you never know when you might want to change things. But go back and slowly but surely tighten a little bit on each bolt. Not all the way tight, just a little bit on each bolt, and you're going to get a little bit, it's going to come together really easy. Now, I know a lot of guys were saying, man, in fact, the first time, and I say this with all honesty, the first time I put the pannier bolts together, before I had the black bolt kit, I had to squeeze like crazy to get those the bolts in, and in fact I was a little I don't want to say angry with it, but I thought, man, this can't be right. And I tightened the bolts down too much. I didn't tighten them all the way, but I put too much thread and it didn't have enough play. So when I started to put the turn signal relocation kit, it was sprung out, and man, that was a disaster. Not really a disaster. I mean, I got it and it worked, but when I got the black bolt kit from Enfield Accessories and put it in, I learned a lesson, and I just put a little bit of thread in each one of them, and man, it went together absolutely no issue whatsoever. I mean, it was like, well, that's what you're supposed to do. And that's one of the tips I wanted to add to you guys, and tell you, hey, this is what you have to do. You literally need to not tighten any of the bolts. Wait till you're done putting it all together, and then slowly bolt here, go around the bike, bolt there, and then do like a cross pattern all over the motorcycle until you get everything tight, and then torque everything down after that. But saving the turn signal relocation kit is the final torque. But you know, do all your torquing on your rails first, and it'll go together so easily. Like I said, lots and lots of guys have been saying, man, I have a hard time with that. But that is one of the modifications that I think is very, very important. What's the other one I think is really cool? You know, even though it's going to sound kind of, I don't know, not that important, but that little 20mm rise that I put on the front fender has been really important for me, because the fact that I do ride a lot of trails, and those, even though I'm still running the stock tires, I get them to lock up in mud. Now, when I get other tires, which I'm going to do later in the summer here, then it'll show better use because I'm going to have more space. But right now, it keeps the mud from locking up inside of the tread and gives me a space in between the tread and the fender. And I think it's a really important modification. But let's bring it to another mod that I think is important. This GPS phone mount is really important to me. I use it pretty much every time I'm filming, and it's something that I really like. It's got the little USB charger there that I use quite often when I'm on my phone. I can plug it in, my camera into it. I can plug the phone into it. I can plug Iron Lady's phone into it, and we can you know, we can run down the highway and as we're charging our battery the entire time we're riding. Now, in the phone, obviously, but you know, it's one of those type of things that it's really important, but it's kind of superficial. Do you really need it? Well, I don't use it that often when I'm not filming, because I'm using the mount right here for my phone. Now, until I get my Garmin, you know, everything costs money, guys, and until I get my Garmin to hang here, I use my phone for GPS. But I really haven't gone on any trails that I don't know that I need a GPS. That'll come later. But right now, this is the place for my phone, and it's perfect. It's right there. I just glance down for navigation. If a phone rings, I can see who it is, yada yada yada. Hit it with my Cardo, and I'm good to go. But this, there's a couple things I wish were a little different on it. I wish it was a little bit more stout, just because everything on this bike is stout, and I wish it attached straight to the front end tank guard. I wish that's where it bolted onto. I know there'd have to be some engineering done because of the way that you turn the handlebars, but I'm sure if anybody can figure it out, those guys can. So that's one of the things I wish was a little bit different, was the fact that it was a little bit more stout. Maybe make it one piece without this rubber mounted bar here, and that way it would be more stout, because that way it would protect more stuff on the top here. I don't know if that'd make a difference or not. I mean, if you're going to fall on your bike, pretty much everything up there from the windshield down is going to crack on you anyway. But it's one of the things that I really think is an important modification. Well, we're here at the post office already. What do you think of that? That was a quick ride. Well, here we are, and we'll be right back. Let's get down to the nitty and the gritty. So what is the #1 mod that I truly use all the time on the Royal Enfield Himalayan? The Hitchcock's bags. I'll tell you what, guys, I use these things constantly. When you seen me getting ready for the video, it was kind of foreshadowing what I was going to say. I loaded up this side with my cooler that I always carry water, you know, in the summertime, even though it's probably going to rain here on me before I get back to the house. But I always carry a couple bottles of water, and I use a small little soft-sided carrier or cooler, and it's got an ice bottle in there with it, so it gives me 3 bottles of water if I need it in case something happens. And got 2 water and 1 frozen water, and it keeps it nice and cool in there. It's not necessarily the best cooler, but it works, and it works really well sticking inside of these Hitchcock's crash bar bags. And I'll tell you what, I love them. And as far as I know, I have really not got anything wet in there, and that's important because on this side I carry my batteries and camera equipment, and you know, this camera here is pretty much protected from the weather because it's a Hero 8, and they're waterproof. This one here, I may have to put a little duck seal around the where would it be, this side, duck seal around it to keep it from getting water inside and ruining the camera. But as far as these being waterproof, I wouldn't consider them waterproof, but they're water resistant, and I don't have any issues whatsoever. And I also carry other stuff, you know, tools, some extra tools to work on the bike if I need it. I also use a little puck, and I carry that with me too, because you never know, particularly the way that this bike stands up, it needs something to keep from falling over, and so I carry a little plastic puck. I do that with all my motorcycles. In the hot weather, you may sink into the asphalt. In the rainy weather, you may sink down into the mud. So I always carry a little puck, and I'll show you some B-roll here of what I mean. And so there's a puck in there, and you know, my camera equipment, my extra batteries, my charging cables for the phone and for the camera. We've got our water on one side. I carry a selfie stick for when I do the videos when I'm walking through the area. Heck, the last trip that we took with Iron Lady, she even had her purse in the same side. And I keep my hat in there and sunglasses, and they're big enough to carry. I mean, obviously you're not going to carry everything, or I'd put the Lomos on, but the reality of it is they're big enough to carry everything I need for a morning or afternoon or, you know, single day ride, and so you don't have to load everything else up. I think they're without a doubt the absolute best modification I've made. Now, I didn't get these for nothing, and I'm sure Hitchcocks don't know me from Adam, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to put a link in the description where you get these guys, and they are awesome. Now, I'm sure there's better ones on the market, but I don't know. I've not tried any other one. I bought these because the way that they looked. I didn't really want to put the fuel canisters on there because I already have fuel bottles, and I think it's just a waste of money. But they're really, really, really quality made. They've got an outside pocket, they've got an inner pocket, and then the big compartment area in its own right. So you basically have enough room to carry as much stuff as you want. If I didn't have a wallet on the chain, I'd put my wallet in there. And if it starts to really get rainy, I take my phone and put it in here. And I absolutely have no issue with any of it. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this video today. I know it was a little short, but it was a little sweet, and it's something that I really wanted to tell you about. I really do enjoy these Hitchcock crash bar bags. I think they're, without a doubt, the best modification I've made to the Himalayan so far. Well, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you give us a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification button, share, and comment. You know I read all the comments and comment on as many as I possibly can. Until next time, guys, ride safe and keep her on 2 wheels, baby.